Hi there, Tarnished. Sir Gideon Offner here. Now, before we started this episode, Spirit Ashes, Part 1 of Elden Dogs, I wanted to briefly mention that Part 2 of Spirit Ashes is going to be for Patreon members. It's patreon.com/hair of the dogcast. Much like the way that the bestiary was, Part 1 is made available for everybody. Part 2 of Spirit Ashes is going to be available just for Patreon members. And we're doing that to, it's a way to thank our supporters because podcasts take a lot of work, a lot of research, and it's not easy scouring the lands between with little dung beetles trying to get all this information. And so that's just a big thanks to our Patreon supporters. If you want access to Part 2 of Spirit Ashes, it's going to be at patreon.com/hairthedogcast. It's immediately available right away. And yeah, but thanks for listening, and thanks for being here with us in the lands between. Enjoy the show. Good morning, lands between. Hey everyone, welcome to Elden Dogs. My name is Sir Gideon Offner, and I've had my coffee, I've had my sleep. I've been up since 5 a.m. doing my research in my beautiful library. No bullshit tarnished allowed. See, Tyler, Alexander, I got a lot of energy coming in.
Yeah, you're cooking right now.
Good morning.
I was doing great. This is Alexander. I'm here, and
I was doing great.
I was doing great, and I was on my way here, and some fucking kid threw a sleep pod at me, and I'm trying to fight off the urge to go back to sleep. It's early in the morning. I worked last night.
Well, you thought there was a bowl of water by your bed, but it was a sleep pot.
It was, yes.
Yes. When you accidentally take melatonin instead of good morning pills. Well, this is your favorite podcast about Elden Ring and Spirit Ashes. Controversial addition to the Soul style of game. Yes, we are going to be talking about Spirit Ashes, somewhat in the vein of the bestiary, where we're going to go through every one of them, and we're not going to rank them because that's not us, but we're going to talk about them.
Yeah, because I guarantee I've used not a lot of these.
Oh, really?
Yes.
See, I have dabbled in all of them that I have. I actually don't have the Dung Eater yet.
Really?
Technically he's a puppet, but functions as a spirit ash. And I don't know, it requires some certain orders of operations that I haven't done yet. I'd love to have a Dung Eater in my pocket, if you know what I'm talking about.
That's concerning.
It's like Pokemon, but worse. And it is kind of like Pokemon. You might be asking yourself, what are spirit ashes? And I don't know if you are. Are you?
Yeah, what are spirit ashes? Well, it's slang in the lands between for cocaine.
Doing lines of spirit ashes. Hey. Dude, I got some of that good giant rat's ashes.
Yeah, I got the Dung Eater ashes in the bathroom cut up for you there.
I think that we both just mentioned swag ashes, though.
Yes.
Some of the lesser ashes. The Dung Eater, that's definitely a sativa.
That would be like someone giving you baby powder.
Yeah, they cut it with something bad.
Yeah.
Well, we're on a good path here. Spirit ashes, they're simply the spirits that have not been returned to the Erd tree, burnt into little ashes, little pile of ashes. They're outside of the cycle of rebirth, and the spirits can be called through the use of their ashes. You can do this through the Spirit Calling Bell, which you are given by Rena, who most certainly isn't using a fake name.
Yeah.
Like that bitch when I was 25 at the bar.
Did you get ghosted with spirit ashes?
Yeah. They said that they were the good stuff, but they were in fact...
It was just baby powder.
It was just baby powder.
I do like this idea, though. I'm going to run with this, that slang it's just slang for coke in the worlds between.
You can get a lot done if you have spirit ashes. I'll say that much.
It's energizing.
You will be tired the next day. The Spirit Calling Bell you're given by Rena, and she says, I was entrusted this for thee. by Torrent's former master, who we are 95% sure was Mikola. So Mikola is the one who came up with the technology of the spirit calling bell. 'Tis a bell for calling forth spirits. Summon them with it from ash unreturned to the Erd tree. The spirits will obey thine command, but briefly, as they recall battles past. Now it is thine. Because if it's a fantasy story, you don't say yours, you say thine.
Instead of saying you say thee.
That's very smart of thee, Tyler.
Thank you.
You see what I did there?
Or thank thy.
Thank thee.
Yeah. Thank thee.
Thou artst wise.
Correct.
Yep. To do with as thou wishest. So yes, the spirits can only be summoned by a rebirth monument. Must be close to one of those monuments to call forth the spirit ashes. They look like a little door of Moria.
Yep. That made me so angry when I wanted, because you get the wolves right away, and I wanted to use the wolves.
Couldn't do it.
And I couldn't do it, and I started Googling stuff shamelessly.
I'm proud of you, though.
I was like, I'm not fucking around with this. I'm dying every 5 seconds.
Proud of you. Well, I mean, I spent a good 10 hours not knowing there was a double jump for Torrent.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, he jumped twice.
Surely this will negate any fall damage that might happen.
It won't, and don't call me Shirley. Spirits can be upgraded. Only a spirit tuner can strengthen these spirits, and there's only one spirit tuner in the fucking whole lands between.
Well, that took me like 35 hours to figure out.
Yes, I call her Roderica. She can be pronounced a few different ways. Roderica
is how I did it.
They're all great.
Yeah.
It's a good name.
Also, underrated character. Very cool.
She's very cool. Yeah. She doesn't want to get taken by the spider, which is a revenant, which is a grafted monster. So that's not good.
Yeah, and I mean, like, honestly, some people say it's controversial that she didn't want to get taken and grafted by the spider. I think that was a pretty logical, safe bet on her part.
Yeah.
And good on looking out for you.
Yeah. Don't go in there, man. If all your friends are going to get grafted by Godric, would you do it?
Yeah, and on every other subsequent playthrough I've done, when I get to that point, I'm not even going in there. And I've killed that thing before.
I didn't even know this was a combat game. I've just been hanging out with my horse, not moving anywhere. This one guy was mean to me, and I'm like, I don't have a maiden, and I am staying here. I've been 200 hours in. Haven't done much.
I just keep doing the tutorial cave.
Yeah. And it's tough, man. Scary cave. And Spirit Tuners, it is an art that lies... Okay, Spirit Tuning is an art that lies somewhere between tuning an instrument and conducting a conversation, leaving both parties enriched. I love that. So for her to strengthen your spirits, it's a little bit like tuning your guitar to like honing in, trying to like make everything smooth, feel better, sound better, and a little bit of a conducting a conversation. That's a really poetic way of saying what she's doing. And Ghost Gloveworts and the Ghost Gloveworts for the legendary spirits. That's how you strengthen them. These are for ashes which keep their renown after death and cannot be strengthened by merely corporeal glovewort. So they're so powerful, they need to use the ghosts of plants. And if there were ghost plants, this place would be drowning in them.
Yeah. Yes. A lot of plants in here.
Lady Carly Offnir. Lady Carly Offnir is a plant woman for sure. Yeah, that's a little bit of an overview. Spirit ashes generally don't retain a lot of, consciousness or an idea of what they are. Latenna, we can talk about when we get to her. There's a few that have unique things, like Stormhawk King is a spirit ash that you can't summon. You get the spirit ashes, but it will only allow a specific person to summon it. There are a few of those specific ones, but yeah. We can jump right in here. Most will materialize directly in front of you. Some, though, such as the putrid corpses, will appear a fixed distance away from you, which is confusing when you call a Pokemon and it's just not there.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Just standing in the corner of the dungeon like, I got you back from over here.
I'm over here. Well, I'm fighting over here.
Yes. And 9 times out of 10, when you're calling this bad boy in, you need the help immediately because you're just going to die right away. So what good are you doing over there?
Because most people, they'll pop a spirit ash the moment they walk into a boss arena. That's generally how a lot of people, that's how I used to do it when I started.
The animation takes so long, I don't really see how you do it otherwise. Like, what, you're going to stop in the middle of the fight and try to create some distance? Like, that just seems like counterintuitive. Just pop that bitch as soon as you go through the mist.
I like, as soon as you know it's possible in like a common non-boss arena, I do it from a distance, and then they won't be aggroed. And I'll do like a Aldo Rain in Unglorious Bastards. I'll walk up and down in front of them, trying to give them a little pep talk like, I want those Beastmen scalps.
I'm going to get me my Beastmen scalps.
And it's a little bit like talking to a zombie. They're like,
See, it's interesting that you took like the leadership approach with yours, because what I did was called them in and then ran frantically around like SpongeBob, like help, tried to get his aggroed as quickly as possible.
That's one of the biggest issues with Spirit Ashes is, I mean, their function. They all have different functions, but I do the same thing where if I can lure them, I will run into enemies and then run past them and just hopefully they charge in after me. They grab some aggro. They'll slow the enemies down.
Yeah.
Hopefully. If your Spirit Ashes have red eyes, that means that they are stoned.
Like stoned.
I think so. It means they act independently, hunting down enemies at their own discretion rather than following your lead. So they are maybe stoned. They're not really following the leader anyways.
That just sounds like strong, independent Spirit Ashes that ain't need no man.
They ain't need no tarnished.
They ain't need no tarnished.
I love Red Eye Ashes. You summon them, and they're like, peace, and they fucking sprint in towards the nearest enemy. It's what is it? Leroy Jenkins. It's Leroy Jenkins. It's like, yo, dude, not ready. Spirits deal no stance damage and will quickly have their own stance broken by a sustained assault, unlike their living counterparts. A couple of the little things, if you wanted to boost them, you have the Cursed Blood Pot. Throwing one of these will immediately apply a behavioral. Wow. Did I say that?
Yeah, and I don't know how
behavioral.
That's what we're looking for.
Behavioral change to active ashes for the next 60 seconds. This causes them to acquire red eyes.
So, yeah, it's not clear eyes, it's blood eyes.
Red eyes. This also causes group summons to focus on a single enemy. So Cursed Blood Pots are great if you're a big Spirit Ash fan. If this pot hits an enemy, Moog's crest will appear over their head, and all Spirit Ashes will rush to this enemy. And if you have Moog's Great Rune, when active, you'll recover 10% of your maximum health each time a summoned spirit dispatches an enemy.
That's pretty neat.
If you're fighting a boss, it's kind of useless.
Well, yeah, but
if you're fighting a group,
yeah,
that's cool. Spirits will receive a temporary damage boost similar to that of White Mask and the Lord of Blood's Exaltation Talisman, where blood loss is present with Moog's Great Rune. So that's just a couple of the ways that you can help them, which really they're just there to die for me. But if you wanted to alter their behavior a little bit.
Yeah, I use these just as meat shields, and I already have learned more than I ever knew about them in the beginning of this episode.
I mean, at the surface level, if you only use them as a meat shield, that's fine. And
Plus,
they're going to do pretty good that way.
Yeah, plus, I mean, once you get the Mimic, like, did I use anything else after that? No, of course I didn't.
And I want you to know that is foolish, because there are a lot of uses. There's a lot of different scenarios where you might want to have a long-range archer. You can summon those ancestral followers, and they will just plague motherfuckers.
See, that would be cool. I probably should have fucked around with it a little bit more, but like I said, I'm so vain that when I got 2 of me,
yeah,
I was just like, this is all we ever needed.
Did you kiss him?
So what's the next?
Did you check under the hood?
I was like, are you really me?
It does look bigger from over here.
Well, that's a confidence boost.
That feels pretty good.
It's like looking in a mirror.
Yeah. All right. Well, what's our number one standard ash?
That would be the Wandering Noble, but it's not the first one you're going to get in the game.
No, but
It's one of the first ones you can find. Not the first one you're going to get, however. The Wandering Noble is the spirit of nobles who, after death, now wander the lands between. Surely they were in search of something once, but whatever it is has long been forgotten.
man, I've been there. You just forget what you're doing.
Yeah, when that happens in real life, I just pretend that God is playing The Sims and he deleted my action because he accidentally queued too many up.
That's what it was.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
So you're saying that you are a sim.
I mean, it's just that's how I like to think about it. I think that's funny.
It would work for why my life feels so sabotaged often.
Yeah. And he just keeps clicking the high life function on the fridge like over and over and over.
He entered the high life code. We're drowning in it.
There's a little high life gnome outside my house.
Yeah, these wandering nobles.
You can find them in the Stormfoot catacombs, and it'll summon 5 of these decrepit
It's
old
in
bucks.
it's a little baggie in a corner. You find someone dropped it. A little bag of ashes.
Yeah, could you imagine? You just like,
It's in a balloon.
oh man, like they boofed it.
Oh, wait, no, that's heroin.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
That's how people die in Pulp Fiction almost. You got to be careful with that.
Yeah, well, essentially, so what you do is you find this bag and you think best case scenario, it's drugs. Worst case scenario, it's 5 decrepit old dudes who are weak as fuck, and I can use them as a diversion to run away from the scary boss that I'm going to find in about 10 seconds.
So you're wandering around. You're like, dude, I found a bag of 5 old dudes.
Yeah. Dude, I got that good stuff. I got the Wandering Nobles.
Separate note, have you ever found drugs on the ground and taken them?
When I was in high school, I did find a pack of cigarettes and smoked them.
Okay, you're being very generous with the it is a drug. It is definitely.
Well, I was too scared of drugs when I was younger.
I had a buddy who found a pill in an elevator and he just popped it. And I was like, this is the scariest shit I've ever
Dude,
seen.
no way.
And
no fucking way.
I think it wound up just being like some lady
It was a
menstrual
Midol?
cycle pill or something. I don't know. Because we got to look at it. And then he took it. And then we went to pillidentifier.com. And we're like, okay, well, you're probably not going to die. Cool thing with some of these spirits is sometimes you get more than one. And sometimes when you level them up, they'll grow in, they grow in strength, they grow in, overall stats, but they can also grow in number. And Wandering Nobles, they suck.
Yeah. This is the definition of a meat shield because they will actually cower in fear if they face like a huge enemy.
They you get 5 of them. 3 with swords, 2 with torches. This is a perfectly acceptable spirit early on in the game when you don't have anything else. You will quickly not want to use this guy. They're a diversion. They're super fucking weak.
Yeah, if you're doing like I was, like a spell sword build, these would be good to just draw aggro from an enemy. They're not going to last long, but you can still pop off some glintstone pebbles before you have to retreat.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. You want them to be a diversion, but they're like little paper shields. Speaking of nobles, there's the noble sorcerer up next. Now, this is the spirit of a nobleman who was once asked to be given a place at Regulacaria to learn glintstone sorceries. Insufficient, though, of getting a big old stone mask. He's only capable of using the most rudimentary sorcery. You can't buy talent. And this rich motherfucker tried to buy his way into college. And it turns out you can't fake it.
Which is odd because that's all they want you to do nowadays anyway.
It is. Here's your degree. You get to be the king of the sorcerers now.
Yeah. Also, we're not going to give you the dope hat.
You can't have the hat, though.
You can't have the cool hat.
He'll buy it from some dead person. You find this. It's dropped by the Erdtree Burial Watchdog in the Stormfoot Catacombs. He walks very slowly. There's only one of him. Just like the other ones. Like, if he's not up front, he's going to not do a lot. I guess Ideally, he might draw aggro from a distance and distract somebody. All he does is Glintstone Pebble. He cowers in fear. He's a big old loser boy.
Yeah. I said, see you later, boy. I'm buying tickets to see Avril
That sorcerer wasn't good enough for me.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I never used him. I had my 3 wolves, which I'm sure we'll get to at some point.
You get those. Those are the first ones that you can buy. I don't think those are necessarily the first ones you can get, though.
The wolves?
Yeah.
No,
you get other ones first.
You get them with the bell.
It depends on. You might not get it from Rena.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Next up, we got Nomad. Member of a tribe.
Great bar.
A member of a tribe that was entombed in the earth so as to bury the maddening disease that followed them, able to emit the terrible flame of frenzy from his eyes, but has low health and is frail, unable to take much in the way of punishment or damage at all.
I like this guy. He is pretty dumb, not the most effective. All he likes to do is walk forward and just shoot flames out of his eyes. It's just funny. He can do a little bit of AoE and get some aggro. Like, he's weak, though.
Yeah, he just goes full Homelander, like walking through a room.
If Homelander was a fraction as powerful as Homelander.
Yeah. You can find this guy by the corpse overlooking the Forsaken Depths in the subterranean shunning grounds. And he's just gonna stare very intensely at your enemies and try to help you out.
He's got his little string instrument with him, and I always want him to play it, but he won't.
Yeah. That would be cool. If he was playing it while walking, that would be really cool.
If there was, anytime that a Spear Dash does something unexpected, like we'll get to Latenna, or like the Spirit Jellyfish has this unique quest up on top of the mountaintops where she and her sister like dance, and like anytime a Spear Dash does something that's not just straightforward attack, it's kind of interesting. And the Nomad can actually receive healing from Frenzy Flamestones. Kind of interesting. Our next one is somehow even more useless than the first 3. We have the Putrid Corpse. These spirits appear far away from you. I summoned them, and I was very lost and confused for a while, and I found them just like hanging out behind an alley smoking cigarettes.
Clove cigarettes, too.
They're cloves. I thought they were so cool.
Yeah.
Though their movements are dull and confused, their low moans make them effective at drawing the attention of enemies. True death does not come easily for them. These guys suck. They're dropped by the frenzied duelist boss in the jail cave. You get 4 of them. You get 4 useless bags of bones. Defense and taking, they can take a little bit of damage. They're slow. They will not get anywhere from where you summon them. They can induce poison, which is great. I found them to be one of the most annoying Spirit Ashes just because I usually want them by me.
I need my Spirit Ashes to do work. You got to be able to pull your weight and then some of mine.
You had a very awkward conversation where you called the Putrid Corpses into your office to fire them, but they wound up across the street.
Yeah, and then somehow they still poisoned me.
These assholes.
Next up, we have the Skeletal Militiaman. Unique, New York.
I like that.
Yeah. These are the spirits of militiamen who live in death and will continue to rise again until properly finished off.
They ain't leaving until they come. Not until they're properly finished off.
This is the grotesque fate of those who come into contact with Deathroot.
I like that even their ashes just
are
like
fucked.
Their ashes like, nah, we're still coming back, dude. Like, you cannot get rid of us.
We are inevitable. I think I might have used this one for just a moment. This one sounds familiar.
I like these guys.
They're dropped by the Tibia Mariner in the Summon Water Village. You get 2 of them, and they can be used as a diversion. I did use this one when I got tired of my boys, the wolves.
It's great. If they're killed by enemies, if the enemies don't double tap them, they just keep coming back, and they will keep coming back. So let them get taken out, then draw the aggro away. Let them get back up. I think they're pretty effective. I like the skeletal ones.
What's his name? D or G?
Hunter of the Dead, D.
Yeah, does he? I wonder if he says anything weird if you're using him.
I don't, probably not, but maybe.
Yeah.
I like things like that.
Yeah, I wonder if that changes anything.
There is the skeletal bandits. These are the spirits of bandits who live in death and will continue to rise again until they properly finish. They're finished off. They want to get finished.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very important.
I ain't leaving till I'm coming. After the night of the plot, Deathroot appeared in the lands between, and those who live in death soon followed. These are dropped by a Tibia mariner south of the artist's shack. And I wish the bandits could steal stuff.
That would be really nice.
If they could make an enemy drop a weapon or something, that'd be kind of fun. Or
Yeah, or just like a pot.
Yeah.
Or some runes, some extra runes.
Once we get to the ashes that throw pots and do other things, that's exciting. These are not them, but these also will keep getting back up. You can't keep a good spirit down.
Amen, brother.
Amen, brother.
Next up, we got Albinauric.
Yeah. These guys are cool.
A strapping duo of cartwheeling spirits who wield ripple swords and spew freezing breath. Both are second-generation Albinaurics with dumpy heads that resemble those of frogs.
It's so mean that the description calls their heads dumpy.
Yeah, and that's like... So the other day, someone told me that their friend called somebody medium ugly. Like, that dude's medium ugly.
Okay.
A, one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my entire life, to refer to a man as medium ugly. B, one of the meanest things I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. I mean,
And that's
judging people by their attractiveness. And now if it was personality-wise, I'm in on that.
No, this was
Physical.
strictly physical appearance.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
They were like, that guy's medium ugly.
And
that's how I feel about the word dumpy.
Yeah. No, I've never heard anyone described as dumpy until Albinaurics. And poor guys, you know?
And cannot, like, in my head, they do not resemble dumpy.
No, maybe frumpy.
I was going to say frumpy.
Yeah, dumpy.
Big frumpy energy from the Albinaurics. You can find these ashes in on a corpse in the graveyard past Caria Manor. You get two of them, and they're good for some melee.
Dude, when you summon them, they are cartwheeler boys. They want to cartwheel a lot. And I'm juggling in the middle, and they're just like cartwheeling all around me. It's so sick. Yeah, they're fun. There is the effectiveness factor, and then there is this is funny, dude.
The wow factor.
That is a lot of cartwheels.
Yeah.
And anytime a Spirit Ash is doing one of those either annoying or like awesome attacks that you usually hate getting done to you, having them do it, it just feels good.
Yeah, like that's my boy right there.
They may be dumpy, but they're my boys.
Yeah.
If maybe they're girls, though we don't know. I shouldn't assume the Albinaurics. Maybe they don't have genders. We don't know.
No,
they can't procreate anyways.
That is my dumpy.
Hey, this is Dumpy, Frumpy, and Humpy. These are my boys. Don't comment on their faces. It's really mean. Our next friend is the winged Misbegotten. They are a spear with the aspect of wings, which takes flight to loose arrows from its bow. The Misbegotten are held to be in punishment for making contact with the crucible. And from birth, they are treated as slaves or worse. You probably ran into your first winged Misbegotten down in the Weeping Peninsula in Castle Morn, and these guys are annoying to fight because they're in the air and they have arrows.
Yeah, it's like I felt like the guy from Tenacious D. Like, get over here so I can stab you. Get over here.
From Pick a Destiny?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to watch it again.
Yeah, it's actually played by the same guy who's the lead. Was it Tim Robbins? Tim Robbins?
Tim Allen.
No, from Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, Tim Allen. He starred in Shawshank. Tim Allen.
Oh, well, no, he actually went to prison for cocaine. We found cocaine again. I circled back.
We're back. You know what's great about any Spirit Ashes that fly is pretty much all the enemies in the game are designed to attack tarnished. They're meant to like fight on the ground. They're not meant to like be ready to fight things swooping in and diving around, shooting from a distance like that. Any Spirit Ash that is in the air has an immediate advantage just because most enemies are not designed to fight that.
I didn't even think about that. And yeah, you are 100% right. Because if you don't have a ranged attack or something to throw at these bad boys when you run into them at Castle Morn, you're kind of fucked a little bit.
Luck, I mean, like every video game, though, any enemy that could just be in the air will eventually land or get close enough for you to fight. That's the toughest thing about making dragons realistic, because dragons should be impossible to kill in almost every video game. But luckily they land and they go melee when they can fly and just rain hell on you.
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Yes, you find the winged Misbegotten in a pit in the unsightly catacombs, mid-range damage dealer. Pretty good Spear Dash.
Yeah. And I bet you if you leveled them up, it probably gets even better being up in the air like that.
They take a lot of aggro. And yeah, when you level them up, they can also take much more damage, which really can just be a good distraction.
Next up, we got Demi-Human. I definitely use this one.
I like the demi-humans.
Spirits of demi-humans that are small in stature but have a violent, brutish disposition.
It's like Nate.
Yeah. You just get 5 little bald guys that fight everything.
And they will kick your shins.
Though they seem somewhat intelligent. When night falls, their blood boils and they become feral. Dropped by the Erdtree Burial Watchdog in the Impaler's Catacombs. You get 5 of these guys.
Yeah, you get the whole team.
Yeah, the whole Justice League shows up for you. You get 3 demi-humans, 1 diminutive demi-human, and 1 mighty demi-human.
And Aquaman.
Jason Momoa is also there.
Jason Momoa shows up. This is cool. These Spirit Ashes, if you summon them at night, they're stronger. Much like their real-world counterparts. And I like that you get the variety pack.
Yeah.
3 regulars, a big and a small. And I like to watch them. This is one that I just like to watch them work, see what they're up to.
Yeah.
See who survives. Anytime you get 5 spirits, it's a good diversion. It's a good time.
I use this one a lot because I started leveling it up, and I kind of stuck with it because I didn't know if I was going to have a finite amount of resources to level up Spirit Ashes.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to pump some points into these guys and then abandon them and then just waste it. And I got these guys pretty strong before I found the Mimic. So the Mimic tier. So these guys will definitely help for you, especially if you're doing any sort of ranged build, because they are great at drawing aggro and they can hold their own in most battles.
Yeah. It's a useless gang of ruffians.
Yeah. Very good.
I like them. Our next friend, number 10, the Clayman. The Clayman. Bowed with age, these spirits are sluggish but hard to stagger. That is true. The warped remains of priests who searched for revelation in service of their ancient dynasty. They employ 2 sorceries that produce both smaller and larger bubbles. Hi, we are the Bubble Boys. We are here to shoot bubbles at you. And weirdly enough, we are tanky as fuck. We are the tanky Bubble Boys. You find this little bag of drugs on a corpse on the edge of a waterfall in the Ainsel River, Maine. I like this.
I could get down with this.
I mean, they're slow. Summon them close. They can take a decent amount of damage. They're very hard, thick, and it's great. It's just seeing somebody fiercely blow bubbles while they're getting attacked will always be a fun thing for me. A little bit of range, but they're going to aggro. Once the enemies get hit, they're going to come at them quick. I ultimately find them very not useful, but super cute.
Yeah. I definitely did not use these guys.
They're weird, but I like bubbles, so what can I say?
Next up, we got the Oracle Envoy. Spirits of a monstrous band of musicians who employ the sacred arts. The sacred arts. I almost said the scared arts. Reading's hard. It is said that when the Oracle Envoy appears playing their pipes, they do so to herald the arrival of a new god or age. And fun fact, they start by just playing a G note, because when
all
they
good
were
songs start with G.
A young boy, their father took them into
Bing,
Stormville Castle.
Bing, bing, Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, it's a My Chemical Romance thing.
Okay.
Because it would be cool to have a My Chemical Romance Spirit Ash, and this is as close as I'm going to get.
If they took off their helmet and their hair just fell down over their eyes.
Oh, and one emo swoosh, and I would have used these guys until the end of time.
Or maybe they got big old afros under there.
Yeah, or one of them's just wearing slip-on checkered Vans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Located on a corpse and on a large branch of the Halig tree.
Yes.
You get 4.
You get 4 of these
musicians.
And they blow bubbles too.
Yes, they do.
They roll around. They are the weirdest looking enemy. And yeah, I like them on my team.
Yeah, because their bubbles can hit enemies through walls or obstacles, and it will not miss a moving target. But that implies that they will miss a stationary target with the way it's worded. I doubt they do. They got pretty good aim.
It's just cool that they can go through walls or obstacles. It is bullshit.
Yeah. So they're
That's
using
not how bubbles work.
No, they're using hollow point bubbles.
Hollow point bubbles. Yeah, like these boys. Now, generally the first Ash people do wind up using is the Lone Wolf. The Lone Wolf is a misnomer because it's many wolves.
These are my dogs.
This is the wolf pack. The NWO theme kicks in whenever I summon it. Instead of a ding, 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 it goes, what's the wolf pack theme? The wolf pack is back, causing mass destruction. The bad boys of wrestling.
That sounds right.
Something like that. And then we all make little wolves with their fingers, and we do the little kiss.
Yeah, that little Scott Hall thing.
Because I don't know, I mean, these grown men are wearing leather underwears and making their hands kiss like wolves.
And they just want to collect belts.
And they're like, oh, I just want that belt. It's a gold belt. Yeah, man, wrestling is cool. These wolves were chased from their pack. They later encountered a nameless tarnished who welcomed them as hunting companions. The wolf spirits overwhelm enemies with their agility, aiding the summoner in combat. Sting will use a baseball bat, which is fun.
Yes, you will.
You get these from Rena or the Round Table Hold. Yeah, these wolves are tenacious. They go in, they go out, they swarm, much like a real pack of wolves.
Yeah. And I'm using them currently with my Faith Strength build. And after a battle, if I use like the heal on myself, and it'll heal them.
I like that.
So I can keep them around for a while until I get to a point where they're no longer allowed, and then they have to go home.
I mean, the saddest thing is when you have to leave the Rebirth Monument area.
Yeah.
You have to take every time I have to put Old Yeller down and cry my fucking heart out.
Yeah. It's like when my dog's looking at me through the window when I get in my car to go to work, and I'm like, I'm sorry.
I mean, luckily Spirit Ashes can't eat gummies.
Yes. Or maybe they did, and that's why they're ashes now.
Oh, no. Yeah, these they're better at DPS rather than tanking.
Yeah, they do. In a boss fight, they'll get wrecked pretty quick.
Yes. If it's like a boss doing a lot of AoE, they're likely all to die.
Because they stick together for the most part. Very rarely do I see them like one go to one enemy, one go to another. It seems like they all generally attack the same guy. But yeah, they will definitely do some damage for you.
I prefer the red and black lone wolves versus the black and white lone wolves.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's because that's where Sting went.
And whenever the Latino World Order shows up, I get confused but excited.
Yeah, and it's like that gimmick died a long time ago.
Yep.
Yeah, but here we are.
Them wolves speak Spanish.
I did have quite a few NWO shirts.
Oh yeah. I only had the red and black, but
yeah, when Hulk Hogan spray painted it on the World Heavyweight title, I was like, that's just disrespectful, man.
Yeah, none of my homies like Hulk Hogan.
No, but he definitely had the coolest like boots ever back then because he had those like lightning bolt ones.
Cool boots with the skin of a hot dog.
Yep. Also, he like dyed his beard black, but he left the mustache handlebar yellow or blonde.
It was a choice.
Yeah. It oddly was like, you look kind of dope.
It kind of, I mean, it's a great way of hiding the fact that you're 70.
Yeah. Way to go, Hulk. Next up, we got the Rotten Stray.
I like these guys.
A spirit of a stray dog corrupted by scarlet rot. Though it is only a small creature, it is as violent as it is nimble, and its fangs fester with poisonous rot. Some say that it has the strength of 1,000 waterfalls.
Now, this is one of the earliest ways you can inflict rot on an enemy.
Which would be nice in the early game because other than that, I think the first time I did was with a pot.
Yeah,
A rot pot.
Some of those early bosses, the Rotten Stray is a glass cannon. It will go down quick, but if they can get Scarlet Rot inflicted one time, that you're likely to beat that boss pretty quick. Big fan of the Rotten Stray. Any chance that you can get, I mean, poison is a powerful weapon.
Yeah. Located on a corpse inside a building in Celia. Like Brad just said, it applies Scarlet Rot.
These little baggies of drug ashes everywhere.
Yeah. And this one has got fentanyl in it because it's going to kill.
I like, too, that it doesn't say what they are.
Mystery.
Yeah, I mean, how do you know what those ashes are when you pick them up?
Like, yeah, what if, like, you're kind of like...
Do you taste a little bit? You're like,
Yeah, you rub it on your teeth.
That's
apparently.
Oracle Envoy. That tastes like a dumpy albinoric or something.
Could you imagine, though, like, you don't have time to taste it, and you just pick up the bag, and you summon it, and, like, it's a dumpy little fuck or a poisonous dog? You're like, I did not expect that.
I got a rabbit.
I got a rabbit.
This sucks.
Yeah, no, this would be a cool one for me to use now, currently in my current playthrough, because I know where this is at, so I could just go grab it real fast.
Yeah. Another enemy, which I always thought would be more useful than they are, is the giant rats. Now, these spirits actually don't require FP to summon. It doesn't require anything to summon.
That is invaluable, because I don't think we even mentioned that at the beginning. Some of these guys...
High FP cost.
Yes, and if you rely on any source of magic or FP during your fights, you're going to have to call them and normally like hit a flask right away.
Yeah, so that's taking up, the first 5 seconds of a fight for you.
Large chunk of time. So having something that doesn't take FP or health, as we'll get into later.
Yeah. It's rare, but there are a few.
That's pretty cool. That's invaluable.
These rats appear like our putrid corpse friends at a distance to the summoner, but they swarm upon the victim to start the fight. And if you have fought even one rat, let alone 3 to 5 rats, you know how much they annoy the shit out of you.
Yes. And they will fuck you up, no matter if you're level 1 or 250. A rat can kill you.
Radagon will kill 1,000 tarnish, but 3 rats get in there,
and
he's
game
gone.
over.
Sorry, dude. With the giant rats, you get 3 initially at plus 5 spirit power. You get 4 of them, and at plus 10, you get 5. So 5 giant rats. A giant pain in the ass. And it's a free summon, so that's great. Good diversion, engages enemies. That's another thing. And it's one thing when they draw the aggro, but if they don't continually engage, there's a good chance the enemy will see you and be like, why am I fighting this dumpy albinoric?
Yeah.
I'm going to just only refer to them as dumpy from now on. Yeah, the giant rats are summoned at a distance. Annoying, but luckily they're fast and they generally want to fight.
Yeah. I think it would be cool if you could summon them and then ride them around like Torrent.
That'd be cute. I wish the Vulgar Militia rode them. Could you imagine how annoying that would be?
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. The two most annoying enemies together.
It's perfect harmony. Ebony and Ivory.
Ebony and Ivory.
The Warhawk. And we're not talking about Warhawk from wrestling with the Mohawk.
That's a wrestler, huh?
Yeah, I believe that was the guys that wore the shoulder pads. I forget their name. I'm losing the thread here.
I don't know.
They wore the spiky shoulder pads.
Those weren't Warhawks. Those were the Bash Brothers.
No, they were something else. Those road. No, one of them was called Warhawk.
Okay.
But anyway,
Road Dogg, Jesse James.
Yes, Road Dogg and Billy Gunn.
Super lame. Billy Gunn the Ass, right?
I stood behind him at a McDonald's once.
Didn't he say that was his name, Billy the Ass Gun or something?
No, it's the Ass Man. Yeah, and now his new thing is
now he likes personalities. That's his new thing.
No, his new thing I saw on Reddit. He's in AEW now, and I think his line is "Scissor Me, Daddy." You can look it up.
Okay. I'm not going to. Their Google said never will happen for me.
If it doesn't happen on WrestleMania,
I will never
don't
Google
care.
scissor me daddy.
That's fair. That's fair. And you know what? That's wisdom and getting older and picking your battles.
Sir Gideon's done that enough.
Warhawk, though, in the Lands Between, is the spirit of a Stormveil Warhawk, the talons of which have been sliced off so that razor-fine swords could be grafted in their place. Also, somebody needs a hobby if they're that bored, where they're like, because hawks have talons.
What if they were sharper?
What if I just Frankenstein that a little bit?
Yeah.
Made it terrifying.
I mean, and this is the land of grafting.
Yeah.
It makes sense. They're like,
If you're going to graft it like a fucking unicorn and just put a giant sword on its forehead so it can dive, like kamikaze dive bomb, and stab people with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is the culmination of Stormhawk technology. I don't know what else you would... I mean, a sword is about as... What else are you going to graft onto it? They only have the two legs to do stuff.
Can you imagine if you like grafted a third wing on its back and it had no function?
Yeah, I mean, it'd just be confused.
It just flew in circles after that.
You can't graft more heads. I think that the Stormhawk is the culmination of bird technology.
Yeah. And who knows, the guy who was working on making the Warhawks better, we probably killed him at some point.
Hopefully.
Running through there. Yes, with its lord vanquished and its wings wounded, the hawk perished as it solemnly gazed at its former home.
Well, now I feel bad.
That's depressing.
This is really sad. Luckily, birds are dumb, so I don't feel too bad about it. Some birds are smart.
No, some birds are very smart. Birds remember faces. If you're a dick to a bird, there's a chance that it'll remember you.
Well, that's why I don't mess with them.
Yeah, like I got pooped on by a pigeon.
Yeah.
In Chicago, and I swear to God, it was the pigeon that 4 years earlier I tried to shoo away while I was eating my French fries.
Whoa.
He probably took offense to that.
Vendetta.
Had to be the same one.
I paid that bird to do that.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
This is from Brad.
I just showed him a picture. I'm like, that's the fucker.
Go get him. You just
cocked his head once and flew away.
That would explain why the pigeon that shit on me had swords on his feet.
I put him on there. I'm going to cut your feet off, but trust me here, dude.
The Storm is a Warhawk's Cradle. This is a cool one because this is the one that you can you have to give to.
No.
Okay, I'm not there then yet. Located in the Painter Spirit Reward at Cliff, north of the Church of Pilgrimage in the Weeping Peninsula. This is gonna be able to breathe fire and good melee damage. Also, another flying one, but
yes.
This one has to get close to attack without the fire breath.
Yes, and does a lot of swooping in, swooping out. It does keep distance a little bit in between attacks, and much like the ones we fight in Stormveil, it's effective at being annoying.
Yeah, because those ones are a pain in the ass.
Speaking of a pain in the ass, the land squirt.
That's gross.
I know, right?
Yeah.
This is formed from Taco Bell. The land squirts. Good Lord, it just sounds bad saying it every time. These squirts appear some distance from the summoner. You know what's annoying about that is they don't move. So wherever they appear, you got to go to them. Because these fuckers, they can they inch around. They will not get anywhere. I love this. The firm, fleshy tubes.
They knew what they were doing when they made this.
They remain rooted to the spot, spraying poisonous liquid all over their surroundings. You find them on a corpse on the eastern edge of Lake of Liurnia. Costs HP to summon rather than FP. You get 3 squirts. You get 3 of them in the morning. It says it requires no FP, but extra TP. Hey. It's got a high TP cost. They do area of effect, status, ailment, damage. I mean, if they're subjected to poison or rot damage, they can't If they are subjected to poison or rot damage, they will immediately explode, causing an area of toxic gas that can harm the player. That can be cool if you lure enemies in and then you make them explode and get out of there. Mostly the squirts, I don't even consider them enemies because I'm not going to fight them.
What is
you fight them once and then you realize that they're pointless and you can just go around them.
Yeah. I wouldn't use this one.
All my homies hate them.
Yeah.
All of them.
I am just now realizing that the word squirt is essentially the same as moist for some people. Like, you know how people don't like that word? And they kind of recoil when they hear it. Squirt kind of does it for me.
And then there's also, it's just a soda. Like,
which, yeah, I thought about as soon as you said squirt, because then you have to be like, hey, can you get me a squirt? And that just sounds gross.
yeah.
Yeah, they know what they were doing.
Squirt gun.
That doesn't bother me. I don't know why.
I prefer Super Soaker, though. But
Yeah.
I think that's patented.
The spirit jellyfish, a floating spirit that illuminates its surroundings, prone to tears. The jellyfish girl searches for her distant home, will bravely spew poison at foes on her summoner's behalf. This is given to you by Rodrika,
Yep.
which is pretty cool. I did use this one for a little bit.
It's pretty good. It's pretty effective.
Yeah. It's got a pretty good health pool, so you can use it to tank. It's got some long-range poison buildup.
Anytime you get an enemy with poison or rot, it's a good thing.
Yeah. Now, what I didn't know is that this one's got a little extra juice to it.
Yeah, you knew this.
Well, I didn't do it, though.
Oh, you've never done it?
I don't think so.
Lame.
If you go to Stargazer's ruins, you will hear a girl's voice whispering, "Sister, where did you go?" This is from a spirit jellyfish in the area. Summon your jellyfish who can speak with each other. They speak jelly. This unlocks at ruins to give you the primal glintstone blade, which the old sorcerers would slice open their hearts with these blades to imbue primal glintstone with their soul, and thus they did die.
It sounds like a bad idea.
Whatever it is, I want it.
Well, I want it, but I want someone else to do it.
Yeah. The grave nearby states, "Here lies Aurelia and Aureliette, who never saw the stars," which is just so incredibly sad.
The lore implications here are that the jellyfishes are the spirits of dead children.
Super sad.
This is why I don't fight jellyfish anywhere. Jellyfish are never going to be angry except for one really mean gang of kids in Liurnia on the lakes of Liurnia on the left side. There's just one all red jellyfish gang ready to fuck you up. But it's because there's a jellyfish shield there, which it looks like they found a shield made out of a child, and they're like, "This is fucked up. We're pissed."
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you show up and you're like, "What's that?" And they're like, "That's the fucking guy. Get him.
That's the guy.
He's coming."
Yeah, they're effective. They can take a lot of damage. The spear jellyfish, Aurelia, and long range poison. It's good at annoying enemies, drawing aggro, keeping them busy. I like the distance spirits because you stay away from them and they'll keep attacking, and then the enemies just don't know who to attack. It's like a dog between two bowls of food.
Yeah.
And then they just die because they don't go all in.
Yeah. I use this one more for like crowd control rather than bosses because I move too much for bosses. I can't get hit, so I have to run around, which inevitably I end up getting the jellyfish caught in the crossfire because I'll beat by him, and then the boss is like, "Oh, what are you doing here? You're dead."
And it's like that kid died again.
Yeah.
Wrong kid died.
Wrong kid died.
Wrong kid died. Our next friend is number 18, the Miranda Sprout. These are the spirits of sweet little Miranda flowers, which are carnivorous blossoms that feed upon human flesh.
Yes.
Again, they knew what they were doing in that description. They're like, these are cute little bunnies that eat the souls of the children.
They had us in the first half.
Not going to lie. I'm like, dang, I want to get one for my kids. And then I realized I don't have kids. And then I realized that they're demonic flowers. They eat human flesh. They creep slowly, scattering toxic pollen. I find them mostly useless. They are
mostly useless.
Not that good at what they're supposed to do, actually. They didn't eat no flesh. They died. Thanks a lot. Vulnerable to fire. Do take care of the little darlings, it says. You find them behind an illusory wall in the Kaled Catacombs. You get 5 of them. Costs HP instead of FP or TP. They're a diversion. They suck. If I made a tier list, I would say I cried a lot because these are bullshit.
Yeah, they're at the bottom.
Bottom for me. Not the bottom, but they suck.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, it's no jellyfish, it's no lone wolf, or the demi-humans.
If you say that you eat flesh,
You better
if you don't
show-
deliver,
Yes.
yeah, all you had to do was eat a little flesh. And instead you just walked around and you just like pooped pollen at people. Come on.
Yeah. Like, live up to your name.
Yeah, man. When I saw an albinaric taking a dump, I'm like, that's it. They're living up to their names.
Yeah,
Those
that
dumpy albinarics.
Dumpy cartwheeling
When they're
motherfucker.
cartwheeling, they're just shooting everywhere, dude. It is a tornado of squirts.
Squirts. Next up, we got the Fanged Imp. These spirits are well suited to causing a disturbance, moving nimbly like pests, and hurling magic pots.
Yes.
So now we're getting there.
Give me some enemies with some pots.
The first time I saw a Spirit Ash throw a pot,
This changed everything.
it was the Spider-Man meme where I'm like, oh, you do that? I do that.
It's one thing. All right. These little bag of cocaines we found. I understand the spirit of somebody. And also, you're stretching credulity when it's like, all right, their clothes came with their spirits too. They can bring pots. How many pots do they bring? Do they have, what's else in their bag? Do they have spirit money?
Yeah. Do they have any extra flasks? Chance.
Some of them do have flasks.
I mean, for me.
No, unfortunately not. But it's interesting that they can bring their pots in the afterlife as well.
The two imps seem fond of each other's company, which is pretty cool. Everybody needs a friend. Located, keepsake, or purchased from the isolated merchant by Rhea Lucaria.
Yeah, so you can actually get this one to start the game.
Yeah, and you're going to get two of these bad boys.
Yep. Two for the price of one.
Good with melee damage. Their melee attacks cause bleed buildup, as you know, because if you walked into a cave and then they ambushed you from around a corner.
Turns out 3 hits kills me.
That's rough. So blood could be cool, especially if you're running a blood build. This is just an extra little blood buildup for you.
Yeah, make the blood flow.
Can also be used to solve the riddle to open the Albinaric Rise. What does that mean?
That's in the consecrated snowfield where you have to get 2 imps to attack each other. And yeah, one of the ways to do that is to, I forget the name of the item, where you can like mess with their wiring and some darts, and it makes them fight each other. Instead, you can use the Spirit Ash, and that counts as the 2 imps fighting each other to get inside. The next one is number 20, and the Soul Jars of Fortune. One, that pun seems like you're reaching, but I'll allow it.
Yeah.
Yep, Soul Jars.
I'm down with it.
You're down with it. Well, that's because you are a jar.
Yes, it's just nice to be recognized.
These reckless spirits sacrifice themselves to vanquish their summoners' foes, and they explode upon death. My boys, not only are you going to fight, you're going to like blow yourselves up at the end. That's all I ask for in a friend.
Yes.
Defend me and blow yourself up when you leave.
If we accidentally get into a bar fight one day and then I just run up and explode, it's going to be weird as hell. Like, he could do that this whole time?
And I will remember you fondly.
Yeah.
Oh, that motherfucker. Yeah. Blaze of glory. Though their bravery is admirable, their explosions can harm friend as well as foe, so keep an eye on them. And they will also immediately explode on contact with fire, as anything that is flammable will do.
Yes.
They also have a caption in their description: tell them how brightly a fire jar burns.
That's just fucking... Oh, I love it.
Tell them the Lannisters send their regards. You find them dropped by a grave warden duelist in the Ariza side tomb. You get 3 of them, 3 jars. Love them. Cute little baby boys. They use HP rather than FP or TP to summon. Only the squirts required the TP.
Yes.
Lots of it.
Lots of it.
But yeah, rather than FP, they use HP. And they are a great diversion, and they're cute.
I often wonder why certain Spirit Ashes require HP instead of FP, like for the Mimic tier. It makes sense because that's a pretty OP one, and you're making a copy of yourself, so it should take from your health pool.
The fact, though, I mean, and it makes sense for the jars, but giant rats is where you're losing me.
I wonder how they chose.
Wait, no, the giant rats don't use HP. They don't need anything.
Which also confuses me.
Yeah.
But like with these guys, they can explode and hurt you. So it's also like, oh, we'll take some of their HP.
So I imagine you cut yourself and you sprinkle that blood on the Coke. And it makes sense for the mimic tier a lot because they need DNA.
Yep.
And I guess the soldiers of fortune need life power, like because they just consume flesh.
Yeah. And they don't have time for the Golden Corral buffet. So
No.
you gotta set them up for success.
We need it now.
Yes. Next up, we got Archer. It is.
It's that cartoon.
It's just the cartoon. It's
Yeah.
H. John Benjamin.
What do you mean I have to fight?
Yeah.
I can't do an Archer
I
impression.
used to be able to do it. I lost it years ago.
Yeah.
But it's such a good show. Spirits of archers who belong to the Fallen Hawks, a band of soldiers that once explored the Eternal City. Their arrows are imbued with cold ghost flame.
I love that shit. Yeah, these are the Falmer, the underground, undying fallen hawks, which were sent down there to search for something that could kill a god. It seems like they were sent by Stormvale, possibly by Godric. They've been down there a long time. And these are the archer variations. All of the fallen hawks are great, but the archers are less effective. But it's great because, you get 3 of them, and 3 ranged enemies can be very annoying.
Oh, yeah. You got a squad at that point.
Squad up.
And I'm annoying as a ranged target to most bosses. So I'm just making their life even worse.
Oh, yes.
Which they deserve. Yeah. Find these guys, on a corpse tucked behind a building in Noxtella, the Eternal City, to the left after going up the stairs with the exploding silver tears.
3 of them, mid-range damage. Great guys.
Yep, this seems like a useful one. This is you could definitely use some more firepower in battles, especially ranged ones that are going to stand back and just help you do damage.
Way more effective, though, are their brothers, the Great Shield Soldiers. The spirits of Great Shield's soldiers who belong to the Fallen Hawks, a band of soldiers that once explored the Eternal Cities, stout defenders with a steady guard. Though their methods are somewhat crude, they may work well as a squadron and will attract the attention of enemies or lob Ghost Flame near the rear guard. Not only are they throwing Ghost Flame pots, but they have giant shields. You get 5 of them. Enemies don't know how to deal with that. When they get surrounded by like 5 Spartans with shields, they can't get through them. They can't get around them. They're way effective. These are one of the best standard ashes in the game, in my opinion. Super defensive. They take shelter constantly. Tons of shield bashes to stagger their enemies. Only time they ever drop their shield is to let out a war cry to draw attention to them or to throw frost-inducing Ghost Flame pot. I love these guys.
Yeah, super useful.
Enemies that can bypass their shields are going to be bad. Anything with a whip will fuck them up. AoE attacks that affect a big area that can get around them. Otherwise, most standard enemies, Great Shield Soldiers, are stupidly effective. Do yourself a favor. Get a bag of this. It's legal in Wisconsin now. At least in beverages derived from Delta Spirit Ashes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely check it out.
Check it out.
We got Page. Spirit of a Page.
Elliot.
Hey, yeah, there you go. Spirit of a page who traveled at the side of the noble he served. One becomes a page merely by accident of being born into obscurity. Nothing is asked of ability, talent, or volition.
An eternal bitch boy.
Yes.
Yeah. Not the greatest. That whole description, like, that sounds like a bummer.
Not good. You can locate this piece of shit.
This fucking asshole.
In the deepest room of the cliff bottom catacombs. Uses a piercing sword and crossbow to defend his master. Uses normal crossbow and not a pulley crossbow the high page uses.
Which is a bummer.
Walks very slowly and will often fire at targets behind walls or objects, which is pretty cool, but very low DPS.
Well, it also doesn't hit them. They fire at them behind the objects. They don't hit them through the No, this is very useless. Not cool. Yeah, they're not smart. And this is why they never got higher than Page. They never got promoted.
No. What do you get promoted to after? You get high page, and then what are you, a novella?
A novella.
And then a novel.
Okay, I see what. Okay, yeah. And then eventually you go library.
Yeah.
That's the highest level. And then you work.
That's how a librarian got to where they were.
Yep, the librarian is the highest rank of page, and it's because they didn't shoot at walls.
Yep.
Low standards. Yeah, low DPS. The page is pretty dumb. I didn't enjoy them at all. Unlike the vulgar militia,
Which is what they call me at work sometimes.
oh no.
Because I just walk in and start cussing everywhere.
And you're like a militia. You're like a fucking army unit that comes in to knock shit down.
I wear a tank top and holsters with 2 squirt guns full
With
of
2
lager.
golden Desert Eagles.
Yep,
full
squirt
of
guns.
full of lager.
And then if someone says they want a beer, I'm like, open your mouth, bitch. And then just,
You said, "Call me Madison Lee."
yes.
Yeah. Spirits of the vulgar militia who wield long, shafted, serrated hatchets. These brutal motherfuckers are particularly effective at causing blood loss to opponents. In the lands between, the small were scorned, and so they formed their own small gang of people called Mini-Kiss as a means to make a living, albeit living in ignominy. Ignominy.
I don't know what that word means.
The more I say it, the less I know it. Yeah, you find this bag of drugs at a corpse in the Ariza hero's grave. You get 3 of them. I like the vulgar militia. They are effective. They're in and out. They dip, dive, duck, and dodge. And yeah, a lot of blood loss. The vulgar militia are one of those enemies that you think look easy when you see them, and it turns out they're not.
Next up, we have the marionette soldier.
Pinocchio.
Yes. The marionette soldier is the spirit of a marionette soldier created to serve a sorcerer. These marionettes are archers, each equipped with a pair of bows. On the verge of falling apart, they are ill-disciplined and attack without warning. You can find them in a cave by the cemetery in Rea Lucaria. You get 2 of these spirits. It's going to be a mid-range damage dealer that looks funny because they just spin around and shoot shit. I think the design for the marionettes are very cool.
I love just sitting back and watching them pull their arrows.
Yeah.
It's super fun.
Yeah, very cool design. I think I read somewhere that these guys are pretty good if you level them up, especially because they're going to be a mid-range just DPS machine.
They can also go crazy like their real-world counterparts, where they just when they start shooting in every direction. Whether or not they're always effective, they're at least fun to watch. And that counts for something. Which also moves into number 26, our avionette soldiers. Spirit of marionette soldiers with avian features that were created to serve a sorcerer. You find them in Rea Lucaria and a graveyard ledge access via the water wheel. You get 2 of them. These are flying little fuckers. Melee and status ailment damage dealing. They have long shafted scythes and also attack from the skies by lobbing fire pots.
Now you're speaking my language.
Flying birds with fire pots that will always remember your face.
Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah. Can sometimes malfunction when damaged, like their friends. Yeah. Another cool flying enemy.
Yeah.
Plus pot.
You had me at fire pots. Next up, we got the Caden Sellsword, a spirit of a mercenary belonging to a horse-riding folk.
Yeah.
Skillfully uses a massive blade and made for dismounting other riders and enhances his already considerable strength with war cries.
Sure does.
The Sellswords of Caden made their prowess known on countless battlefields. These guys are cool. They're like these weird, like Viking Mongolians. That's how I refer to them.
They're big.
Yeah, they big boys.
And they're not afraid to go into a big group of people and fuck them up. I like watching the Soul Swords work.
Dropped by the Erdtree Burial Watchdog in the Cliff Bottom Catacombs.
This is a classic you're fighting someone for their drugs situation in a graveyard.
I need what you got.
I'm taking what you have. I'm fiending right now.
Yes.
I just ran out of my avionette baggie. I need something else.
And this is a good one to get because it's a general purpose melee Spirit Ash with a moderate health pool. It's able to block, which is huge.
Yep.
Some say that it could parry, but I still believe parrying is not a thing.
I started parrying a lot recently.
Yeah,
I parry like fucking crazy now because I was going through all these spirit ashes and I wanted to watch them work. So I just sent them out. And then every enemy that came to attack me, I just stood there just parrying them away. It's awesome. Dude.
I got to learn.
No, it's so cool. It comes down to timing, but I'm also to the point now where no enemies scare me with their attacks. So I just wait for the attacks and know what to do.
Yeah.
And then I get it half the time.
The key is to not panic first.
Sometimes I can.
The Caden Sellsword can perform a shout to buff his damage. Attacks can throw enemies off balance. These guys are cool. I bet you if you leveled him up, he would probably be pretty strong. They're a formidable opponent.
It's a shame he doesn't come with a horse.
Oh, what if that was? I mean, it's not on here, but
and it's
could
a
you
shame.
Imagine?
There's been no reports saying that he can get on a horse, unlike one of our later Spirit Ashes who can actually ride a wolf. It'd be super cool if he could, or, I mean, something like that was possible. Unfortunately, though, it is not. The Caden Sellsword, it's someone you want on your side. We're going to do 3 more today, starting with number 28, the Mad Pumpkinhead. The spirit of a mad soldier with a large brawny physique. Though he has stifled his panic within the dark confines of his helmet, he rampages as if driven mad when agitated by bloodshed or the humming of insects. If you've ever tried to sleep and there was one fly in your room, you know what I'm talking about.
Or when you're camping and you hear the cicadas.
I like that.
Yeah.
I find that calming.
But it does keep me awake sometimes.
That's just because you didn't drink enough whiskey or have your melatonin.
That's true.
Those are the 2 options, man.
Yeah.
Yes, this mad soldier is all that is left of a broken gladiator. I mean, it's sad. It's super sensitive to, it's kind of like the mountain Gregor Clegane just constantly pounding milk of the poppy because the head hurts so much. So the enemy needs to wear this to kind of like keep him calm, but also if he goes mad, he goes fucking mad. You'll find these ashes from the Twin Erd Tree Burial Watchdogs and the Minor Erd Tree Catacombs in Kaled. Behavior, you got defensive tank, melee damage. He's a big motherfucker that will draw a lot of aggro. Flail strikes will build up bleed. And the head, of course, is resistant to damage. If you're trying to hit the head, you're missing the feet.
Yes.
He will freak out if anything is inflicted with blood loss, including yourself or him or enemies. Head smash can't damage player, but can stagger them.
Interesting.
Yeah, I like the Mad Pumpkinhead. We're getting now into the territory of enemies that I am so happy are on my side of the dodgeball team.
Yeah, I don't like fighting the Pumpkinheads, but they're not as difficult as I remember. Or maybe it's just because I've gotten a lot better at the game and being in the early stages of it again.
Yeah.
You find, you run into a couple of them pretty early on in your playthrough.
So for the final episode before the DLC releases, I'm planning the Waiting for DLC party. And we should do a draft where we draft either enemies or NPCs onto a fictional baseball team or dodgeball team.
Yes. Yeah, I'd be down with that.
And then we can let the people vote who would win.
Yes. I could get real strategic with that.
Dodgeball would be easy because it's 5v5, but
yeah,
baseball could be fun having to choose positions.
Yeah, and you'd pick 9 then?
Dude, ancestral followers as pitchers.
Oh my God.
That fastball.
Could you imagine?
Yeah. Yeah. Mad Pumpkinhead, very cool.
Next up, we got the Fire Monk. Spirit of a stout monk who monitored the giant's flame, versed in fire incantations, and himself steeled against fire.
He's a big boy.
Though he was charged with keeping watch over the flame, after many years of solemn duty, he has succumbed to its allure.
It's like being a bouncer and trying not to drink.
Yeah.
Eventually, you might get curious.
Yeah.
Or the famous, you don't ever dip into your own stash when you're dealing drugs.
Don't get high on your own supply.
Okay, I'm not gonna smoke this bag of weed in front of me. Come on now.
Yeah. All right. I'm a drug dealer.
Why else was I
need to have responsibility?
Why else was I selling weed in my 20s? Think about it.
Yeah. It's because that's how you get access.
I actually made a lot of friends. I never sold weed. It was a fictitious story for the podcast.
No, I
take that, government.
I sold fake IDs and passports.
You fucker.
So yeah, the Fire Monk. is located in the Giants Mountains catacombs.
A lot of S's there.
In a hidden section. Yeah, and they're all at the end of the word. So, yeah, this guy's going to be melee and fire damage. Help a brother out by throwing some oil pots.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you got oil pots, you throw them at your enemies, obviously.
This is ebony and ivory. This is fire monk and oil pots.
This is exactly
fire monk and oil pots.
This is exactly what Paul McCartney was thinking of when he wrote that song.
He's thinking of a giant Rasputin-looking motherfucker who succumbed to the dark flames. He's like, I got this bucket of oil that I think we should hang out.
Yeah, he's definitely not thinking of his wife at the time. Did he write that, or was that Stevie Wonder?
No one knows for sure.
I think it might have been them together. For some reason, I just remember Paul McCartney.
Yeah, so the fire monks are great. I summon them, and I immediately just think about how the size differences in the people of the lands between is very weird. The fact that I am up to this dude's dick, it's weird. I'm standing there, I'm like, wow.
You are tall.
I am staring down Main Street here, buddy. This is weird for me. He is, he's, anything this big draws a lot of attention, and I like this guy on the battlefield.
Yeah. Plus, it's just, I mean, I throw fire pots. He loves fire. We just get along. Yeah. We have the same hobbies, which is pots and fire.
You buy him a shirt that says My Chemical Romance. You're like, we're going to be friends now.
Yeah.
This is Sloth and Chunk. We are Chunk, he is Sloth.
And we're just going to get really drunk on Fireball.
Yeah.
And listen to
you don't speak the
Rammstein.
Same language, but he's really affable anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the Fire Monk's cool. I think I used him a little bit.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. Our last one we're going to do today is the Ancestral Follower. Spirit of the Horny Folk, who eschew horned folk, who eschew letters and metalworking. They are one with nature. We are doing yoga today. Brawny and versed in distinctive spiritual arts, this particular tribesman wields a heavy bow. You know him, you hate him, you've died by him. It's the Ancestral Followers. You find this dropped by the Ancestral Spirit in the Shifra River. Yeah, he's a motherfucker, fucking long-range sniper. He is that guy. He is going to shoot that ultra-fast arrow, and it is going to annoy the shit out of you.
Yeah, and he'll see you before you see him, and it's going to scare the shit out of you because you're just like, you're stopped on torrent, you're looking for something, bam.
And it's great. Summon this guy from a distance and then move in. As long as he's not, this isn't one of the types of spirits you don't want to get attacked. Summon him far away so he can do his damage while you're out there drawing attention. It's just a thorn in that enemy's side. Super effective. This Ash also has a hidden ability to heal about 1/5 of its total HP when an enemy is killed. Makes him an invaluable asset while fighting groups. Percentage heal, as it will be the same amount of a health bar at higher levels. So that's very cool. Strongest shot out of any of the long-range snipers. Does take longer than some of the other ones, though. Great deal of health. This is a excellent long-range spirit.
Yeah, this would be one that would be very beneficial to use. I definitely use this guy because, I just enjoy the design. And it seems like if you're going to call in backup from an Ash, this is what you want. So,
yeah, and that takes us to, that's number 30. There's 64 different Spirit Ashes. So we'll get the other 34 on the next episode. If you want access to that episode ASAP, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/hairofthedogcast. If you are a Patreon supporter on there, you know all the excellent perks that you're getting. The 6 extra bestiary episodes, the extra 10 episodes of Popcorn Dogs, the extra Raw Dogs, the legendary Jokers of Balatro episode favorite, the Lore of McDonald's.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Another great one. Yeah, so check out patreon.com/hairofthedogcast, and you can get access to episodes immediately. Special thanks to executive producers Rykard Kristinik, Malekith the Black Blade, Blackguard Big Brian Ward, Jordan Hoslow, Sorceress of Blood, Festering Fingerprint Phil Wright, Iron Fist Phil, just Phil, Knights Cavalry Coldo Gardno, Bell-Bearing Hunter Bryant Ross, and Crucible Knight Kelly Gutowski. We appreciate your support. And if Also, big thanks to all the new Patreon members. We've had a lot recently. And yeah, we encourage you all to join us. Join the dogs.
Yeah. Come on over. Water's fine.
I'm very proud of you today, Alexander, because you were tired and you were here.
I got up in the single digits today. I got up before 10.
Wow.
That is a feat.
It's insane.
Yeah. Normally I'm still asleep at this time.
I've been up since 5.
I was going to sleep not long before that.
And I spent a good amount of time doing some of the most annoying mini games in FF7 Rebirth today.
I was drinking a beer at 3 a.m, so that's how we are different.
That hurts.
Yeah, well, yesterday was a good day.
Well,
it was a lot of work.
It's a vicious cycle where you have a long, successful day of bartending and you always feel like I should reward myself.
Yeah.
One drink turns into 13 drinks.
Well, that didn't happen last night. I didn't overdo it last night.
Okay.
But it's like when you bartend and I get off, I'm used to staying up that late because I sleep in. So it's like, normally I'm just up playing video games and chilling.
And I don't like to go to bed until I'm properly finished.
Right.
And then I'm ready to depart. Do you need a cab? Yes. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Sir Gideon Offnear.
And this is Alexander.
And we will see you next time.